Was it Pierre Poilievre? Is he hiring farm bots to do this type of amplification? Is that what they're doing?
Just wait until the insinuations is that he's collaborating with Russia.
Recently, Pierre Poilievre had a rally in Kirkland Lake, which was very successful. In the aftermath, there seemed to be an odd level of engagement on X, formerly Twitter. Jagmeet Singh and the NDP took the opportunity of accusing Pierre of using offshore bot farms. Did he?
Let's take a look. So, one of these things is not like the other, or is it like every other post? Some users on Twitter decided to do some detective work on some of the posts that they were seeing flying around, and they noticed that many of them had the exact same verbiage. And then they decided to check out their accounts, and they saw that they were from places allegedly such as France or Russia or Arizona or other places that weren't, Kirkland Lake, Canada. We decided to see if we could find any of these accounts, and many of them were actually suspended by X for probably obvious reasons in that they weren't real people, but we did manage to find a couple. So here's one of them, and you can see the post here where it says, "Just watched Pierre Poilievre rally in Kirkland Lake, and I'm still buzzing from the energy. As a Northern Ontarian, it's refreshing to see a leader who genuinely listens to our concerns. Poilievre's commitment to the North is palpable." And there is a few other posts from this same person dating back to July, but the account was only created in July of 2024, as you can see.
But that's not necessarily suspicious, is it?
Well, it can be when they say that they're from the province of Samara in Russia in their account.
Well then.
So there's I think there's a good amount of evidence here that there was a bunch of bots that were commenting on this. So what did the NDP have to say about this? Well, they decided to post something on their website that dozens of people go to. Did the Conservatives hire bot farms for Pierre Poilievre's Northern Ontario tour? NDP. Did the Conservative Party of Canada hire offshore bot farms to create a false impression of momentum for Pierre Poilievre in Northern Ontario? This is the question the New Democratic Party of Canada is asking after noticing that the platform X was inundated with posts from people who claim to have attended Pierre Poilievre's recent event in Kirkland Lake, Ontario. The posts have identical wording and were generated by accounts that claim to be from Russia, France, and elsewhere. MP Charlie Angus, Timmins James Bay, says the Conservatives need to explain why these offshore bot farms are working to influence Canadian voters on Poilievre's behalf.
Pierre Poilievre needs to explain himself. Are the Conservatives using foreign bot farms to create fake momentum in Canada? This could be a disturbing practice run for what the Poilievre machine has in store for the coming federal election, said Angus. Poilievre's trip to Kirkland Lake came on the heels of a recent visit by Canada's NDP leader Jagmeet Singh. Singh met with workers, municipal officials, and people involved in local multicultural communities. He also took the time to tour an underground mine and hear from miners. That's in contrast to Poilievre's fake fans, which Angus says speaks volumes about how Conservatives treat the North. Quote, Jagmeet Singh came to Northern Ontario and met with real people to hear real concerns. Pierre Poilievre used our region as a stage prop for his tiresome rage rants, end quote, said Angus. Quote, unable to generate any momentum, it looks like Poilievre had to turn to foreign bot farms and bogus accounts. This is Bush League politics and Canadians deserve better, end quote.
Singh was then asked about this statement that the NDP put on their website at a press conference today talking about groceries, where he was trying to explain to everybody why olive oil was expensive due to greedy CEOs instead of, drought and all of the other issues that are causing olive oil to go up.
Yeah, he should watch our videos.
Yeah, he should.
We explain it very thoroughly.
You should come on the show, Jagmeet. Let's talk about it. Anyway, here's his answer.
Right. Well, this is a question that Pierre Poilievre should answer. We're raising the concern because it's pretty obvious when you look at the number of messages that were identical and that were shared from people that live in places not just around Canada but around the world. It started to raise a lot of questions, and people said, well, this looks pretty sketchy that you've got a whole host of messages like this. And so we're saying, well, the Conservative Party, should respond. Was it them? Was it Pierre Poilievre? Is he hiring farm bots to do this type of amplification? Is that what they're doing? Or if it's not, then we need an investigation into where this is coming from. So that's why we're calling tomorrow. We'll be writing a letter to Elections Canada and to the Ethics Commissioner to investigate these bot farms, to investigate where they're coming from, who's responsible, and if it is a Conservative Party, they got to fess up. And if it's not, then we need to get to the bottom of it. Is it a third-party advertiser? Well, that needs to be registered then. Or is it foreign interference? Either way, we need to know what it is. It's quite serious that there's basically duplicate messages flooding social media, the exact same message from people that seem to be having addresses around the world. That is a sketchy behavior, and we need to know what it's about.
So now you're concerned about foreign interference. Got it. All right, so here's the question. Let's just break this down. Was it Pierre and the Conservatives? And the answer is we don't have the answer to that question.
I'm going to say probably not.
Well,
but we don't have concrete proof, right? It very well could have been.
We need to be asking a different question. Not was it Pierre? Why would Pierre need to do that?
Well, and that's just the point. He doesn't.
That's the question that needs to be asked, right? No, he doesn't. So,
I mean, look how many comments we see in our comment section that, Pierre and the Conservatives are awesome, and how many times we see it on Twitter and on Facebook. I mean, 18 months ago when we started this channel, those kind of comments were nowhere to be found. But now they're everywhere, and it's because Canadians can see that the blue wave, it's coming, and you want to ride that wave because the Conservatives are the only ones talking fiscal responsibility.
Well, the other thing that we noticed on X, and we also, chatted with some of our other colleagues, and they noticed the same thing. Shortly after this change in the guard with the Liberal, call it communications director, Mr. Valaket, there seemed to be a massive influx of posts by alleged Liberal people attacking Conservatives, Conservative voters, or Pierre Poilievre on X. There was a massive influx. Now, could that be coincidence in the algorithm? Sure. I don't believe in coincidences when it comes to a massive influx in new types of communication right after the Liberals changed their communication director. And the Liberals themselves have admitted to paying influencers to try to influence people on votes. So I think, all things being equal, I think this is a possible attempt at the Liberals of creating a scandal for Pierre Poilievre and the NDP.
That would be my guess as well. I don't know if it's the Liberals that did it, or it could very possibly have been the NDP that did it, because why else would they put it on their website? Why would they try to call attention to this? It just seems too convenient. I mean, I've heard of other accounts on various platforms being attacked by bot farms where you can sign up and pay a small fee to have a whole bunch of bots say a whole bunch of nasty things on somebody else's account. Like, who's to say that the Liberals or NDP didn't pay some bot farm off in like China or India or Russia to like put a bunch of positive messages all over X so that they could then claim that, oh, look at the Conservatives, they hired a bot farm. It's like, it's insidious. It's perfect. Like, who would suspect, right?
Well, and as we've said before, the NDP and the Liberals have not been able to make anything stick to the Conservatives. So what do? They make stuff up. So if you can manufacture a scandal then that becomes something that, they hope will actually stick to them. And look at the way that Jagmeet is phrasing this. It's like, oh, did Pierre hire all these bot farms? Well, it sure seems like he did, but well, if he didn't, come on.
Well, and he's trying to bring it to the ethics commissioner. Come on, like, unless you can find the paper trail, which you probably will not be able to.
You definitely will not be able to, because if you're hiring a offshore bot account, like, how are you going to subpoena that? Just say it.
It's just ridiculous. I think it's more plausible that the Liberals and or NDP would hire a bot farm to create all these messages praising the Conservatives so that they could then go, oh, look at the Conservatives, they're hiring bot farms. Then the Conservatives actually hiring that bot farm. Right.
And it's because the North is like the last bastion of the NDP.
Right. So that's why I think it's probably most plausible that the NDP did it. These bots all appear after Pierre's rally in Kirkland Lake, and those of you who may have gone, please let us know how big it was. I'm guessing that it was huge.
Well, there were some tweets from inside the rally where it says it was standing room only, and by all accounts into the pictures, it looked accurate. And we've heard some of our viewers that of his northern tour that the rallies were packed. So I believe that. But again, here's the point. Pierre has not needed to spend money on foreign bot farms in order to get his message out. That smells like an act of desperation, not when you're riding high. And
right.
Here's the other thing. Pierre has been so careful in managing the discipline of the party, managing the messaging of the party, and riding on a image of integrity. Do you really think he's waited all this time to all of a sudden now decide, you know what, integrity out the window, let's start cheating, and let's see what happens. I'm willing to risk that. That doesn't sound like it matches the calculating approach of the Conservative campaign up to this point.
No, I'll tell you what I think is most likely what happened is that Pierre went up north and he had several rallies and they were all successes and they were all huge and there was lots of people there. And these are currently NDP held ridings. I think the NDP got scared, and I think it's entirely plausible that the NDP are behind this entire thing, because why would they put something like this on their website? Why would they bring it up at a press conference? It all seems very, very suspicious, and something smells here.
Well, and let's go back to what Charlie Angus said. Quote, Pierre Poilievre needs to explain himself. Are the Conservatives using foreign bot farms to create fake momentum in Canada? This could be a disturbing practice run for what the Poilievre machine has in store for the coming election. Sounds like he's already convicted Pierre of this.
Right, and they're trying to stir up fear among the voters. Oh my gosh, he's using bots. Bots are from Russia. Bots are from France. Bots are from wherever. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, just wait until the insinuations as that he's collaborating with Russia, comes out from the NDP. It's coming, and you better believe that. So, yeah, there is no strategic reason for the Conservatives to use bot forms. Again, that's an act of desperation.
Right. Why would you need to do that when real human beings are saying great things about him all the time? I mean, look at us, look at you guys. You know that the Conservatives are the ones who are going to affect real change in this country, and they're the ones who are going to create a better future going forward. You don't need bots to tell you that.
And you don't need bots when you're 20 points up. You do need bots, though, when you're 20 points down.